The following podcast is brought to you by Cast Content Media.
Hey guys, it's Ron Worley, your most imperfect host of Sons of Ditches. People are liars, thieves, addicts, and assholes. Some people change, and a few make a difference. But everyone has a story.
Yo, it's Ron Worley here with Ditches of Riches again. Sorry, that was the wrong name. Cut that out, boys. It's Ron Worley with Sons of Ditches. Ditches of Riches is my book. That's the one you need to go out and buy. So somehow I must have known that I need to give you guys a commercial on that. Go out and buy my book, 10 values I call the Worley Way that help you run your business, that help you run your life. And they're huge, important to my life and have saved my life at times. So go out and buy my book. Check that out if you haven't already. And thanks for listening as usual, guys. The like 5 of you that are my listeners that always tune in, I sure appreciate it. I'm alone. I'm solo again today, but it's on purpose. I don't know if you guys have been following me. You know I always try and get a good guest in here to tell their story. And so today I am my own guest. And I'm going to tell a little bit of story so that I can hopefully shed some light on the way I act or am, the reasons I do things, and also hopefully shed some light on it for you too. So we're going to talk today about the time I died. I think I've talked about this before, actually, but it's also important for you to know that what transpired from that death. In 2016, I was talking to 52 probation officers up at the courthouse. And basically, I just got dizzy. And I sat down on the table and I told the crowd, hey, I'm a little bit dizzy. And my wife, Erin, happened to be sitting behind me. I said, oh, she thinks I'm going to have a heart attack all the time. And that was my last words. I actually dropped dead at that moment. Erin caught my head and kept me from hitting the ground. Thank God she was there to administer CPR right away. She started doing that. It wasn't working, but I happened to think that it was probably at least keeping blood flowing. I was already dead before I even hit the ground. So the guards came in and they used the AED machine to get my heartbeat back, and then took me to the hospital. I was dead for a couple of minutes, and no, I didn't see anything crazy. Actually, what I saw was that it was cold and dark. I don't have the big, out of body experience or anything to share with you. That really wasn't the purpose of this podcast either. What I did find when I woke up was that I had a new reason, a new why, that was very important to me. I woke up in the hospital and it just so happened my wife was sitting there, Erin, and I turned to her, and so we had been fighting up to the moment that I had to go talk to these probation officers. And right before we walked in to the courthouse, I said, you know what, honey, I'm sorry. I don't want to fight. Let's go in here with good attitudes. And she basically told me to get fucked. And so stick it, she's not going to apologize. And she learned a big lesson because that was the last words she said. She's not going to apologize. And it was so funny because I woke up in the hospital and I said, oh my God, aren't you glad I didn't die? Because you would have never apologized. And so it was funny. And she learned a huge lesson. Always. It's not a cliche. Don't go to bed mad. Try to get over it quickly and move on to the next thing. Apologize if you need to. But my new why was all of a sudden, instead of my why being my old why, which was, why was I doing things? Well, it was to support my kids, support my family. I was a provider. I didn't want everybody else to think I was a loser. So I worked twice as hard to show everybody that I wasn't. Here I had come through alcoholism and drug addiction, and I was homeless, and I was doing everything in my power to prove that I was not being defined by those items. And that was a lot of years for me proving that I was not this loser that was an alcoholic or addicted person. And that was my old why. And I was really just proving it to myself, and I was proving it to my children and to my wife, and trying to support all these people and my exes. I was supporting them too. So, it was a pretty big why, but that why had killed me. I took on a whole lot of excess stuff. So I always had a couple of different businesses going. And I was overworked, I was working 60, 80 hours a week. And then you got to go to the football games and the dance recitals and this or that, go get your kids their licenses and pick them up from school and all that stuff. It was full-time dad and full-time work. And ultimately it just killed me. It was the stress. I was drinking Monster drinks like it was water. At one point I was drinking 6 of the big cans a day, which is actually 3 in a big can or 2.5 in a big can. So we figured out I was having 18 Monster drinks or energy drinks a day. They were absolutely free to me because I owned the Max Muscle store, and it was one of our products. So we actually, I got them at home for free, basically. So anyways, I abused those things, and I still think that contributed to my heart failure, which is what I had when I dropped dead in the courthouse. So I told you I woke up with a new why, and it was my new reason for working so hard was to collect moments in time. I all of a sudden needed to spend more time with people. And in order to do that, I had to finish up working hard and get to a place in those businesses that I could actually step away from them and have some freedom to do my why. And so I challenge you guys to figure out your why. If you have a why, maybe you have a backup why. You have a backup reason for working so hard. And I also think it's highly important to have a couple of things to work towards. So what if you don't achieve this goal? What does that look like? Of course, we want to always achieve our goals, but I learned quickly that we have to plan to our future, but live today like there isn't a future. There is no tomorrow. So I set long-term goals, but I was given a very short lifespan, and so my short-term goals are there as well. So it's long-term goals, short-term rewards, right? I want to go ahead and plan that like I'm going to be 65. But recently, my wife and I have been planning like I need to retire here before I'm 50 in order to enjoy that retirement time that we would normally get at 65, right? I need to be able to spend some of my money now in the near future. So everything I do, every business I open, it's always a 2 to 5 year span, before the exit strategy kicks in. And yes, it's highly important that you have an exit strategy. So short-term rewards, what does that mean? Long-term goals, short-term rewards, that just simply means like, for me, it's freedom. I make sure that once a week I have time to myself. And right now it's stupid time. I'm out planting grass in the backyard, and I enjoy spending an hour or 2 a day watering the grass. That's my freedom though. I can do that because I'm not overworked. I've put people in places to work for me. They're professionals. They're doing a good job. They're making sure my company rolls, and I can handle them by phone or by coming into the office and kind of square things away. And so far this year, it's been pretty good. I've got an employee that allows me that freedom in my bail bonds company, which is the one that really tied me down. And then the freedom, my freedoms to decide if I want to work. If I need more money, I can actually work harder, and I earn more money, or I can work less and make less money. Because sometimes time is worth more than money. If I want to go on vacation, go fishing, or with my buddies or something, I want to be able to do that. So that's what I live for now. That's my why. That's what I do today. That's my reward for working my ass off for all those years. And it's my short-term reward so that I can keep working. Because my long-term goals, even though they're not as long, for you, if you're young, 20 years old, that's 20, 30 years before you achieve your long-term goals. For me, I'm creeping up there. I'm damn near 50 now. And so it's not so far away. That long-term goal that I made when I was 18 years old is now right around the corner. But along the way, we got to have some fun and stuff. So we do that, we go on vacation once a year, and that's what we get. We go on, me and my wife and family go on a 1 week vacation to somewhere really cool. And that's our reward for working our butts off. We'll do weekend retreats. That's our reward for working our butts off all week. But at the same time, we work our butts off. We work hard. And we work smart. We're not working for pennies. We're working for dollars at least. And really, I believe, so one of my biggest pet peeves in the world is when somebody says, "Oh, you're so lucky." Half the world thinks that people who have success are lucky, that they were given success. And I just challenge that notion. It makes me sick that people think that. I'm not a celebrity, or, nobody handed me a damn thing. I had to go out and work for it. And the nice house, the nice cars, that's what I chose to spend some of our money on. And it is well earned. I earned that shit. It's my money and I earned it. And nobody gave it to me, So that's a pet peeve of mine. So there is no luck in hard work. If you work your ass off, you will achieve something. Now, if you're working towards the right goals, you may achieve millions of dollars. You may achieve freedom. You may achieve family. It's whatever you choose to achieve. And I always say, find the right vehicle and drive it fast and hard. What is that vehicle that's going to get you to your goals? And then just drive at it. Okay. And keep your have to's down. So, your want to's and your have to's, you got to keep your, those things that you want in life early on in your career. Try and keep those down to smaller wants. Of course, we all want the nice car at 20 years old. It'd be great to, have that in our lifestyle. But it's not real smart to do that. It's not real smart to go buy a $150,000 car at 25 years old when you live in a trailer. It might be smarter to hold on to that money and invest it in something that's going to make you money. Or maybe it doesn't even make you money until you're 40, but it's a better place for it. You'll have time to buy cars and houses and all that crap when you get into your 40s, your 30s and your 40s. I always try to pretend like if I had to go out and dig ditches, could I still make my bills? And that's how I got through my early 30s, late 20s. I just kept the mortgage payment low, and I lived within my means as much as I could. And I saved money for just in case, which later turned into money for business ventures and investments. But always plan for the aging part. We don't plan for that. I didn't plan. I thought I had it planned. I was going to retire when I was 50 or 45, I think I said, and here I am 48. I don't want to quit working now, and that's most of it. But also, there's just never enough money. Like, I can go buy something and want something else. But if we plan for the aging part, where when you get into your later 40s, you don't want to work as hard. You want to have a little more freedom. And so plan for that. Hire the right people in your business. Maybe set up your sick time in the company, your vacation and sick time in the company you're working for. Plan to take a few more breaks and enjoy some of the time that you've been given. Because we start to realize, and especially after I died, I started to realize that you don't get guaranteed time. You have to make time, and you have to make those moments in time that are important with, your relationships. Those are huge. And we have to force that. We have to make that happen. We have to make the time to make relationships. So highly important. So yeah, I look forward to exit strategies like 2 to 5 years, because I'm on a short span of living. I believe I'm gonna, I'm not gonna have live until I'm 70. So I always try to get into something and get out of it within 2 to 5 years. And there's a couple of ways to exit. There's a sale. You want to sell your companies, which is what we did with Max Muscle. We just sold them. Or, you hire the right people to run the business for you, and all you do is consult and kind of keep it going and collect your check. That's passive income, and I love passive income. I think that's the greatest plan on earth. The only problem with passive income is that to keep it going, nobody runs it like you did. So you have to expect for it to, drop down in quality a little bit. Probably not going to set any new records unless you found somebody that's going to work like an owner, like you did. It's probably likely that you're going to have to keep one foot in at some point to keep it going. And that's fine. I've got an uncle that he had a rental property management company, and they have like over 400 homes that they manage, and he stepped away from it. He has a business partner, and that business partner was much younger, and he trained that business partner to step in and take over. And he's been doing well, and the guy just cuts him a check every month. And that's his retirement. So it's pretty genius, if you ask me. So one of the big things about understanding where you're at in life, you always got to pick your business partners wise. If you don't have a business partner, that's great. But a lot of people, we're kind of codependent that way, where we want to work with somebody great. And I challenge you to love your business partner. If it's not your wife, like mine usually is, then you've got to love the person, or at least like them, so that you get along. Because the worst thing and the hardest lesson I ever learned was having a bad business partners on a business venture that we did. And, the highly volatile business partner, he even puffed up and got mad at my wife and acted like he was big, bad, and going to punch her and stuff. And those kind of things just don't fit in. Always on this different pages, we weren't like-minded enough. We didn't share the same values. We didn't share the same vision. And so it was always a winner and a loser in every situation we had, and it just didn't work. And so you have to have the same goals, the same vision. You have to have, both of you have to be working for the company in order for that to work. And we got to hope that we're going to work with the same gumption, equally as hard for that to work out. So love your business partner, and then always sharing the values. You've got to have values in your business. I preach this from the rooftops. Run your business as if it's your own life. You are an extension of yourself. The business is an extension of you. So you need to run your business as though you're running your own life. Okay. Those same values that you use in your life, you need to use in your business. So if you suck as a person and you don't do the right thing ever, you may want to change who you are so that your business runs great. Or if your business isn't running great, you may want to take a look at yourself and see if it's something in yourself that you need to change. I guarantee it is. That's what I found out. It is. You have to change something in you, your habits, your downtime, your work time, all that stuff needs to be dissected, and your values is right at the top of that. So I want to explain the energy meter so the energy meter, when we talk, we always want to choose our values over our emotion. So it's important that we make choices based off of our values rather than decisions made off of emotion, because then it's just knee-jerk reactions, right? Our emotion gets in the way, and I don't know how many times I've been angry and make a bad decision, right? Or I've been happy, even the opposite. You've been just elated and then you go buy something stupid because you're so excited for it. And then now you're stuck with the item. So never make a decision, always make choices, and choices are made off of values. So the energy meter, 1 through 10, you label 1 through 10, 1 on the left side, 10 on the right side. You mark energy on the left side and emotion on the right side. And the idea is to know how much energy you are expending in any one thing. So I don't want to go into church at a 10. I want to go into church at like a 3. I want to be subdued energy, and I want to be pretty low emotion, right? I don't want to talk to my mother or my grandmother at a 10. I want to come in at about a 5. I don't want my kids coming into my house at a 10. They need to be at like a 5. That over emotional, highly energetic 10 is for like the football field, or whatever outlet you have, the gym for me. That's where I get to go expend that energy. And I love to do that. You have to have it in your life. We have to have emotion in our life, or life would just plain out suck. And so we're looking for emotion, but we want it to be a little lower so that our values conquer all, right? And so, if I recognize somebody coming to me and they're at a 10, I'm probably looking to help them out and figure out how we can get them down to a 5, a 6, a 7, even an 8 if we have to. Just bring them down another level so that they can think clearly, if that makes sense. So, and the last thing you want to do when you're trying to have a successful company is hire to your values, right? So we do things like, in my why, I want to work with people that are cool. I no longer work with shitheads because there's no time for that crap, right? So I want to be around cool people all of the time. And to do that, you have to really hire these people to your values, like-minded people. So I ask questions like, hey, what's family mean to you? What's the word hard work mean? Where is your freedom at in your life? And I kick back and wait and hear the answers and make sure they're popping off my spidey senses and making me feel warm and fuzzy with their answers. Highly important to hire people that share the same value. If not the same, at least they have some great values that they can talk to you about, and they may fit in with your life as well. I think earlier on in the episodes, we had a case in point with my son who his whole interview, he used his values to interview with this company. And gosh, there was 10 full-grown adults. He's this 21-year-old kid still in college. And there's all these adults coming in trying to get the same job that he was trying to get. And it's a reputable job, he's working for a reputable company. And he used his values to explain who he was. Company got to know him really quick in that interview. And then he turned it around, and when they asked him if he had any questions, he asked them for their company values, and he completely stumped them. They didn't have any. And so he got hired based on that. I think that's pretty awesome. And a perfect example of why you should use your values at all times. I just did interviews with high school kids, donated some of my time and teaching them how to interview to go out and get a job. And they had a whole bunch of questions that they wanted me to ask them. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your, how much experience do you have? Blah, 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 blah. And I stretched all that out and I did my own interviews the way I would interview an employee or do interview employees. And the first thing we start off with is, hey, introduce yourself to me, but don't use anything that you do. I don't want to hear that you love playing football or that you play video games. That matters not at all to me. I am looking for somebody who has the right values, not the right skill set. So go ahead and explain who you are. And whoa, did I stump them? They didn't know how to do that. And so in getting to coach these guys too, I would help them along. I'd be like, okay, well, if you don't know how to do that, here, tell me one talent that you think you have. It can't be physical talent. And they would give me a talent. Give me a value that you use daily. They would give me a value. And then they would turn that around and that's how they would introduce themselves to me. And then all of a sudden we had a little more girth in there. We had a little more knowing who they were. And my favorite part of the interviews were asking them for weakness. And every single kid, I did probably 30 kids, every single one of them gave me an actual weakness. I heard I take too many breaks. I don't focus. I'm on medication, things like that. It was a trick question, of course. I wanted to hear at least one of them turn around and use a positive and make it into a negative. I tend to work too hard for people. I'm too focused on work would be the right answer to that question. And so at the end of every interview, I would coach them up and I would tell them, look, we want to be honest. You're not trying to be dishonest when they ask you what's your weakness, but you don't have to mention the things that don't matter to the job. Tell them you're going to work too hard for them, and that's going to cause you weakness. That's going to cause you negativity. But at work, it's going to be a positive for the employer. And that seemed to work. It was awesome. You should see their eyes light up, man, when they had the opportunity to sit down with a real live business owner and hear what it was like to interview. These are, 15, 16-year-old kids, and some of them had jobs already. In fact, I met one that was an entrepreneur like I've never seen. He owns 2 businesses, legit businesses, and he works for another company doing 2 different things for them, snow removal and landscaping. And so that kid was phenomenal. He was 17 or 18 years old. He's a senior in high school, and he's actively working his businesses. So that's highly important. If we're going to exit our business, we need to make sure that we have those kind of people in our business, right? Self-motivated, big picture type people. Hire professionals that are like-minded, and those people can run your business and give you that passive income. Otherwise, it's probably just better to sell and walk away from it and then use that money to give you passive income and maybe invest it into something else. 2 different ways to do that, but for me, I didn't want to be a lifer in anything. I get kind of bored with everything pretty quickly. So, 5 years is about max for me, and it's time to sell the business. This bail bonds business, though, I will keep it around as long as I can, and I'll hire people that will take it over, and I will have some passive income from it. So that is the plan anyways. So all of you out there, I don't know what else to say on the subject. I think it's awesome if you can go out and figure out your why. Why are you doing? What's your purpose in the world? And use your values to get there. Have a plan in mind, but give yourself a reward for working your ass off, because at the end of the day, you don't know when you're going to drop dead. And you want to make sure you left a legacy for your family, for your friends, something that you remember them by. My daughter just had her best friend pass away, and it's probably her first lesson in life that we are not guaranteed tomorrow. And so we need to live like we're dying every day, and we need to make that important. Find moments to be with your loved ones, find moments to be with your friends, get out there and do something with your life and enjoy life while you're doing it. It's all about the journey. The journey is going to struggle, you're going to struggle in the journey, but find those moments, those rewards that you can have in the meantime, and just try and enjoy it a little bit. Hopefully the pot at the end of the rainbow is worth it, and I wish you all the luck in the world. You guys tune in next week, and we'll be back. See ya.
Thank you for tuning in to Sons of Ditches. For more information, go to my website, ronworley.com, and my YouTube channel, Sons of Ditches. Facebook, Ron L. Worley, or Instagram at Ronald L. Worley II.